All right, practice is underway for this 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. local here in Mount Prospect, Illinois. For our PBA LBC National Championships qualifying squad, second squad of today, third of the long weekend. We started yesterday with a squad that was full of PBA 50 Tour stars that had Chris Barnes take over the lead in the Senior Classic division. Then on our 9 a.m. squad this morning, we had a new leader take over in our Women's Classic division by just a single pin. Margaret Ventrella put up a 13-24 total to take the lead away from Amanda Lang. Lang took over that lead last Sunday. So just under 2 minutes of practice remaining as we get ready for this 2 p.m. local time squad. We'll give you full player introductions. Coming up shortly, as we have a big chunk of this squad, bowlers that are part of the Creating the Difference national and regional staff. Glad to have Ron Hickland and his team on board. for another big squad here at the PBA LBC National Championships. All right, and we are ready to get underway with our opening game of this 6-game qualifier at the PBA LBC National Championships. Waiting for the confirmation announcement for Neil Stremmel for the squad to start. Neil has been muted. So let's get underway here. Start with the players here on 3 through 6. Now remember, each one of these feeds, every 2 pairs, all the way through the house, is available to you on the PBA YouTube channel with the ambient audio from the pair. So what I suggest during these live streams is that you keep us on here in the main feed. Open up the pair feed you want to follow with a right click, whether you're opening it up from the live menu on the PBA YouTube page or on the description under the main feed video that you're watching. So let's get you underway with your player introductions here on 3 and 4. Isaac Archer, Jean-Marc Archer, Dustin Stringer, Tim Tillman, your players on 3 and 4. Dustin Stringer in the Open Classic Division. Isaac Archer in the Open Classic Division. Jean-Marc Archer in the Senior Classic Division. And Tim Tillman in the Open Classic Division. Next door on 5 and 6. Gabor Knapp, Edward Sutherland, Brian Ducey, Mike Teagues. Big group here from Dog Tags Bowling. Ducey, the coordinator, the man behind everything Dog Tags Bowling does for veterans throughout the Midwest. Ducey in the men's handicap division coming in at 206. Gabor in the men's handicap division coming in at 201. Sutherland in the Open Classic division, and Teagues in the men's handicap division. Teagues coming in with a 179 average. Over on lanes 7 through 10 on 7 and 8, Bob Kelly, Rob Callis, Chris Cadifer, Scott Robinson, Bob Kelly in the men's handicap division at a 168 average. Chris Cadifer in the Open Classic division. Rob Callis in the men's handicap division coming in at a 194, and Scott Robinson in the men's handicap division coming in with a 195 average. Next door, you saw this man on the inaugural PBA LBC National Championships clash. Carlton Chambers bowling with Neil Ehlers, Brian Bentley, Joe Penvos. Now when we saw Sebo, Carlton Chambers, we saw him in the Open Classic division at that inaugural class. Well, a couple years on the calendar means that Sebo has made his way into the Senior Classic division. So he's looking to take down the score that Chris Barnes put up yesterday at 1438 for the 6 games. Chambers bowling with Neil Ehlers, Brian Bentley, Joe Penvos. Bentley in the Open Classic division. Ehlers in the Senior Classic division. And Penvos in the Open Classic division. For those players on 9 and 10. Not the way Sebo wants to strike, but it's a strike. You got to count it. On 11-14. On 11-12, Christopher Jensen, Catherine Jones, Thomas Jensen, Seth Lehman. Christopher Jensen in the men's handicap division coming in with a 192 average. Thomas Jensen in the men's handicap division coming in with 153. Catherine Jones in the women's handicap division coming in with a 191 average. And Seth Lehman in the Open and Classic division. On 13 and 14, Scott Klink, Keith Klink, David White, Brian Green. David White in the men's handicap division coming in at a 197 average. Brian Green in the Open Classic division. Keith Klink in the men's handicap division with a 193 average. And Scott Klink in the men's handicap coming in at a 191. Once again, a fresh application is put on for every squad of this PBA LBC National Championships of the official PBA LBC National Championships pattern. 42 feet in length, 4.5 to 1 ratio inside to outside, and about 31.25 milliliters in the pattern. Let's get halfway through the house here. Let's go over to 15 to 18. On 15 and 16, Timothy Christopher, Sabrina Anderson, Sydney Anderson, and Eric Walker. Starting to hit a lot of the bowlers that are part of the CTD team. As we have Sydney Anderson and Sabrina Anderson. Both in the girls' junior handicap division. Sydney coming in at 182. Sabrina coming in at 172. Timothy Christopher is a senior classic division bowler. And Eric Walker in the men's handicap division, but he's coming in at a 216 average. And on 17-18, Anthony Valentin, Alex Nabreg, David Napoleon, Eric Schalk. Valentin in the men's handicap division at 202 entering average. Nabreg in the Open Classic division, Napoleon in the men's handicap division coming in with a 214 average, and Eric Schock coming in the men's handicap division as well. And once again, all these pairs available to you on the PBA YouTube channel. If you're watching this on your laptop or your home computer and you've already maximized your screen, minimize it, open up the description below the video that you now minimized and are watching the smaller screen. You'll see in that description all the pair links to every pair available to you to watch. That's all 32 lanes in play here at Bolero Mount Prospect. Let's get you over to 19 to 22. Eric Hartman, Torrey Smith, Wayne Jordan III, and Justin Evans, your players on 19 and 20. Hartman in the men's handicap division. Torrey Smith is in the Open and Classic division. Wayne Jordan III in the men's handicap division coming in at a 183 average, and Justin Evans in the men's handicap division. On 21 and 22, Dustin Tournier, Terrence Snell, Terry Jenkins, Dean Nguyen. Dean coming in the men's handicap division at a 199 average. Terry Jenkins in the men's handicap division coming in at 207. Terrence Snell in the men's handicap division at a 190 average, and Dustin Tournier is at a 205 average in the men's handicap division. On lanes 23 through 26, 23 and 24, Jamila Howell, Barry Massey, Rocky Harrison, and Tam Nguyen. Jamila Howell in the women's handicap division coming in at 191. Barry Massey in the men's handicap division coming in at 214. Rocky Harrison in the men's handicap division. Rocky's about a deuce, what I remember in Milwaukee bowling, as Rocky from the Milwaukee area. And Tam Nguyen is in the Open Classic division. On 25 and 26, Patrick Jacobs, Michael Armstrong, Audra Jones, and David Kennedy, your players on 25 and 26. Patrick Jacobs in the men's handicap division at a 155 average. Michael Armstrong in the Open and Classic division. Audra Jones is in the women's handicap division, entering with 172 for the established average. And David Kennedy in the men's handicap division at a 201 average. Yeah, Thomas Jensen, he's a second-year player here at the LBC National Championships. Somebody mentioned him in the chat. We'll go back and watch Thomas bowl in a little bit, as got double amputee from the knees down. So he's bowling with prosthetic legs, and I mean, Jensen, anybody that can average 153 on two artificial limbs would definitely get a salute from me. Let's make our way over to lanes 27 through 30. On 27 and 28, Sonny Young Graves, Stephanie Harkness, Dave Davidson, and Charles Davis, your players. Charles Davis in the Open and Classic division, Dave Davidson in the men's handicap division coming in at 158. Sonny Young Graves in the men's handicap division coming in at 214. And Stephanie Harkless in the women's handicap division coming in at 208. I would think with the scores right now for a player like Harkness, I would have been throwing it in the women's classic division. If you bowl your average, you're 64 over, and it's only 130 over right now. get into the lead in that women's classic division. So we'll have to see if she stayed in that division. We get these entry recaps a little bit before the squad, so sometimes bowlers, they have the option until the first ball of practice is thrown to change their division. Let's go over to 29 and 30 as we have the Hickland clan there. You saw Chloe Hickland just throw right there at the 136, picks it up. Chloe was on the National Championships class from Portland, Maine last year. And she's bowling with her dad, Ronald Hickland, her grandfather, Ronald Hickland, and Neasia Hickland. There you see Neasia. Can't get that spare converted. So Chloe Hickland moved up to the women's handicap division, aged out of the girls' handicap. She comes in at a 174 average. Nisa comes in at a 157 average in the women's handicap. Ron Hickland is in the Open Classic. Ron Hickland Sr. in the men's handicap, coming in at a 200 average. And once again, we want to thank Ron Hickland and all the players that are here from Creating the Difference for coming together for this great squad at the PBA LBC National Championships. And we also want to thank Ron for setting up a Creating the Difference Pro Shop during the run of the tournament here at Bolero Mount Prospect. It's behind lanes 35 and 36, just outside the tournament office. See Austin before or after any of your squads to help you get any bowling needs taken care of, including drilling new equipment. We've had a bunch of new bowling balls hitting the lanes after players see what's going on the squad before them, or they're just looking to get a new piece of equipment while they're at the tournament. And Austin and the CTD Pro Shop has done a great job taking care of the walk-in customers looking for anything from a new ball to just, hey, I need a replacement slide sole, to I need some tape. You've got everything you need inside the Pro Shop. Pop-Up Pro Shop by CTD. Our last pairings here on 31 through 34. On 31-32, we've got James McFarland, Amy Gonstead, Keith Wampler, and Dylan Lowe. Lau is in the Open Classic division. Amy Gonstead in the Women's Classic division. Keith Wampler in the Open Classic division. And James McFarland in the Men's Handicap division. At 33 and 34 is Sam Figurino, John Enzenauer, and Fernando Hernandez, your players. There is one. Oh, there was a late vacancy filled by Michael Black. Good to see we had an add-on. Somebody was able to get on the squad. Don't know what division Michael Stracey's in. Do know that Sam Figurino's in the Open Classic division. Fernando Hernandez in the Open Classic division, and John Ensnauer is in the Open Classic division as well. There you see Figurino stepping up. Young man doesn't bowl as much as he used to. Back in 2007, I was part of the production crew that brought televised bowling back to Wisconsin. For youth players, and our first show was from Bolero Wauwatosa, and Sam Figurino was one of our first players as a youth player to make a TV telecast. And then we ran between youth bowling. About half our shows were youth bowlers. Other half, we had a variety of adult events, including mixed doubles, team events, regular doubles, that type of thing. So we had that run go till 2019, right before the pandemic. And now we're back in southeastern Wisconsin with the Bruce City Bowling Show. And I think we got a front bunch here. We were already awarded one Mini Duke from last year's event to Fernando Hernandez prior to the start of this event, but Terrence Snell had the front 10 before that single pin. So Snell, he's in the men's handicap division. He's at a 190 average, and he's catching 27 pins, so 316 for his first game total. It's a pretty solid start, but he's got a big total to shoot for in the men's handicap division his opening weekend. We had Robert Morris put up a big 1502 number with his handicap. But we'll keep an eye on Snell, see if he can keep the strikes rolling. We'll have player movement here after the first game. Our players will be moving two pairs, skipping a pair, landing on the second. So the players you saw there in 21 and 22 with Terrence Snell and his group, they're moving to 25 and 26. 19 and 20 will move to 23 and 24, and so on. So look and see who our hot hands were in game one other than Terrence Snell. We'll follow them here on the main feed. If you have any questions about PBA LBC National Championships, drop them in the chat. Chris Barnes bowled yesterday. Ryan Barnes bowled as well yesterday. So Jimmy, you missed them live, but you can go check out their efforts in the streams from yesterday. We featured Chris Barnes quite a bit the last three games as he made his charge into the senior classic lead. So check that out once you're done watching this squad of the PBA LBC National Championships.
I'm not going to use this one. Since you got time, I'm going to go retrieve my steel plate. Do me a favor. Turn your net too. Let me have your plate. You take this one. Just give me a net. Good. Thank you. Yep.
It would be absolutely heartbreaking if I get another 298 game the exact way that I did that one. I was going to turn around and let them say, hey, dollar, take this. It's like, just fine. Words of the wise. Don't ever call it done.
All right, let's catch up with Terrence Snell. Snell coming in with a 190 average, almost got his Century Award. As he starts with 289 the opening game, and now he starts with a double here in game 2. That needs some help. Oh, that is the second time today I've gone to a bowler and they've thrown it in the gutter. That is not good. They'll have to re-rack that, give him 0 on his first ball, obviously, when the ball contacts the pin after it's hit the gutter. It does not count. So Will will get Snell a fresh rack. And he'll shoot at that spare. Let's check in on the sponsor of the squad, Ron Hicklin. As you'll see him coming up on lane 34. The whole Hicklin clan, Ron Sr., Nisa, and Chloe. Of course, for those of you that watch the PBA LBC National Championships clash from Bayside Bowl in Portland, Maine last fall, you saw Chloe on the show. Let's see if we can get Chloe a lucky bounce here. Bounce that 7 out, take the 10. Well, you gotta hit one to bounce one. And the early open frame for Chloe Hicklin. So let's see what Ron Sr. can do here. Not a good start for him, 183. Chloe had 245 with her handicap, and now Chloe back-to-back opens. It's going to bring her back to the field a bit. Ron Hicklin, 222, not a bad start for the Open Classic division. And Nisa, 204 in that women's handicap. Well, she's 41 pins behind Chloe. Leave it at that. Let's check back in on Terrence Snell, and 289 the opening game at the front 10. Then starts this game with 2 opens, but then a gutter ball on the first ball in the 3rd frame. And another open in the 4th on a chop of a 3-6. Let's just hope the wheels don't fully come off on Snell here in game 2. We saw that earlier this year. As a bowler in the men's handicap division in week 2, Had a 300 game to open up his set. Roberto Rodriguez. Started with a 300 game. And unfortunately for Roberto, after that, the rest of the day was kind of a nightmare for him. And now with Snell having the Bo Burton buzzard, 3 opens in a row, he's going to have to turn that around in a hurry. Yeah, Roberto Rodriguez started with 300 and had 311 for his next 2. Take a peek in over on 21 and 22. As we have Alex Niebrig, who started 257, and Niebrig, double spare 3-bagger, looking for 4. Can't get the roll, but a spare here. And striking out can get him to 258. And he would have a solid start in the Open Classic division. Once again, that 15-23 by Weston Griffin. Your pacing total in the Open Classic division. Gotta give Alex a chance to redeem himself on the main feed. I mean, obviously he didn't know we were switching to him here in the booth. I will take no responsibility for ending that string of strikes with any type of booth curse, Bo Burton curse, Randy Peterson curse. No, there's no such thing. Yeah, that one, yeah. Neighbor just kind of tightened it up a little too much. We've seen some players throwing the ball relatively straight, like we're seeing with Alex, and have some success. We mentioned Weston Griffin, who was not using a lot of the lane. John Burkett yesterday on the PBA 50 squad came out of the gates with 754, keeping it relatively direct, but then some transition caught him off guard game 4, and it went rapidly downhill from there. So once again, this 42-foot PBA LBC National Championships pattern seems to be able to play for all styles. Both sides of the lane, scores seem relatively fair between left and right. With that 4.5 to 1 ratio inside to out, not that tough to get the ball in the 1-3 pocket if you have the right piece of equipment in hand and you're repeating shots fairly well. Just a matter of how you make sure that entry angle manages to get all 10 pins down. Still a possible 247 for Nieberg. Eric Walker with the cold head pin. Hold the finger in the air. Walker not having a good game here in game number 2. Walker appeared in a couple of my Brew City Bowling Show episodes during the season. If you want to watch the bowler having a good time on the lanes, go to our season 2.5, episode 2 from South Shore Bowl in Cudahy, Wisconsin. You can watch Eric Walker have a heck of a time out on the lanes as he was trying to take down some cash and prizes that day. Nieberg, once again, well, he's got highlight high going right now. He's been keeping the score sheet clean, though. Once again, can still get in the 230s. Bunching the strikes together, that double and three bagger. So let's see what kind of a 10th frame Alex Nieberg can put up. Trying to pile on in that 257 opening game. You can get to 492 or a plus 92 total using the PBA plus minus scoring system. If you're not familiar with the PBA plus minus scoring system, it's relatively easy and it's really great to have during the late part of PBA events, because obviously if you're 40 games in, it's a lot easier to say that somebody has a plus 1142 score than having 9,142 pins knocked down. It's a lot easier to do the math with the plus minus scoring system. So in this case, 200 is considered par, or the average used for the plus minus out on the PBA Tour. So you take the number of games bowled and you multiply that by 200. So in this case, we're in our second game bowled. So 200 times 2 is 400. and then you subtract that number from the bowler's score. So if Alex Nieberg strikes 2 more times and gets to a 492 total for his 2 games, you would then subtract the 400 from the 492 and you'd have plus 92, 92 in the positive. If you had another player that had 395 for their first 2 games, you would subtract that 400 from 395, and that would leave you with a -5 or a -5 for that player's plus or minus total. So we'll see if we can get a good conversion here for Alex. See if we can get the 225. Gets to 224, so he'll be at plus 81, or a 481 total for 2 games. Let's make a jump down to the low end. For any big scores popping up here. Nothing on 3 through 6, on 7 through 10. Brian Ducey's group on 9 and 10. Ducey having some struggles right now, 91 in the 7th, yikes. And that's not going to help matters any. So your player movement between games 2 and game 3 is bowlers are skipping 2 pairs landing on the third. So the players you see here on 9 and 10, they're going to be moving up to 15 and 16. The players on 7 and 8 are going to be going to 13 and 14. So skip 2, land on the third. Use that accordingly if you're watching another player on another tab. Glad to be able to bring you all these pair feeds. Watch every game, every frame, every bowler, every squad of this PBA LBC National Championships for free here on the PBA YouTube channel. And the best part is if you know you got a friend bowling, and you want to see how they're doing, and you can't watch live, well, all these feeds archived on the PBA YouTube channel. And, you know, it's always good to be able to get some extra information. What the lanes might be doing. I know plenty of players that have watched these LBC National Championships feeds just to see what players similar to them might be throwing for equipment, how they're playing the lanes. I mean, if you get one extra strike in a string, or you keep from interrupting a string, you know, you go strike, 9 spares strike. It's 21 pins less than a 3-bagger. You do that once a game through a 6-game series, that's 120 more pins you're going to have. That's not the way I normally recommend to carry, but Austin finds a way to do it. So Austin's going to finish in the 230s. Once again, that player movement skipping 2 pairs, landing on a third, and game 3 coming up very shortly here from Bolero Mount Prospect. One more squad remaining today for the PBA LBC National Championships. That being our 7 p.m. squad. We have 4 PBA exempt players on that squad. We have Bailey Maverick, Patrick Dombrowski, Dio Bernard and Matt Russo, Matt's lovely wife Lauren, will be bowling as well, representing PWBA when she's here. And we'll have Matt Russo in the booth tomorrow for our 11 a.m. local time. That's noon Eastern for our final squad of the weekend. And we have 2 weekends remaining, so it's not too late to get into the PBA LBC National Championships. Get all your tournament information available to you at pba.com/LBC tournament. There you see Terrence Snell had the big 289 start in the men's handicap division. Fell back a bit, shot 170 scratch in game 2, but with his handicap, he's sitting at 486 for his first 2 games. Once again, big total in the men's handicap division put up by Robert Morris opening weekend. That 1502 total has been hanging on for a while. So we'll stick with Snell for a frame or two here after he started with a strike. And yikes. The split rears its ugly head with that 6, 7, and 10. So Robert Morris came in with a 173 average and put together a 1250 scratch total, so averaged just over 208 for his 6 games. Morris had a low game of 189 his opening game. But 3 big games in the middle for Morris. 204, 235, 239 is enough with his handicap to have him in the lead in the men's handicap division. Once again, your prizes in all divisions. Open Classic is a guaranteed $25,000 first place prize. Your Women's Classic, Senior Classic, Men's Handicap, Women's Handicap are all $5,000 guaranteed first place prizes. And for your boys and girls junior handicap divisions, $25 in scholarship money is your guarantee for first place in those junior handicap divisions. There's still room the last couple of weekends here. For the PBA LBC National Championships. If you're looking to get near Bolero Mount Prospect and get your chance at all those big prizes, this weekend's pretty much a sellout. It has been a sellout. There might be a spot or two open. tomorrow with some late drops or changes. Next Saturday, July 5th, your only available squad time is at 9 a.m. as the 2 p.m. squad is sold out. And if you do sign up to bowl the 9 a.m. squad on Saturday, July 5th, you could have the chance to bowl with Stu Williams or Chase Nadeau. Christian Azcona is bowling the 2 p.m. squad on the 5th. And on Sunday, July 6th, boy, you talk about 3 quality players you could have a chance to bowl with. There's only 3 open spots left. That's A.J. Johnson, Sean Rash, and Boog Kroll. So if you're thinking about bowling and want to be on a squad with those 3 players, get that entry in now because those 3 spots are going to go real quick over the next day or two. On Saturday, July 12th, openings on both the 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. squads. On the 9 a.m. squad, no PBA exempt players, but on the 2 p.m. squad on Saturday, July 12th, Nate Stubler will be bowling that squad. And then for our final squad of the 2025 edition of this PBA LBC National Championships, it's almost a sellout. There's only 2 open spots left. So, yeah, your Sundays are pretty much full, the 6th and the 13th. And on July 13th, to finish off this event, 3 PBA exempt players on that squad with Jason Sterner, Kyle Sherman, and Bill O'Neill all on that squad. And don't forget, with the optional doubles using your first 3 games of qualifying for your scores and the optional 4-player team with the games 4, 5, and 6, you have a chance to pick up some additional prize money here at the PBA LBC National Championships. All right, joining me in the booth, and I'm glad he's hanging around a little bit because we can get a little insight as to what he saw today. Until this tournament ends, he is still our reigning Open Division champion, and that is one Mark Blaha. And Mark, the day didn't go as last year went for you, unfortunately. And after looking at your 6-game performance today, what's the one thing you would have changed?
Definitely trust your gut.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're more rev dominant and you see that layout on the inside, I would definitely trust your gut because not a lot of people are playing the same line you are.
Yeah.
I know mostly a lot of the squads are on the outside, so definitely trust your gut and kind of go with your instincts. So I didn't do that this year.
Okay. Now, it wasn't a total train wreck of a day. I mean, you were plus on the day, so it's not like you were shooting 150 games the whole day. How many bowling balls that you used last year came back this year? I got to ask.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think I brought the exact same stuff. The only thing I added was probably the Effect Tour, but kept the Scorpion Low Flare, had my Vibe in my bag. The game changer today for me was the Window Mania because that allowed me to play more inside and nice little skid flip. So that was probably ideal. So I kind of kept my same bag, just added probably maybe 2 more pieces. So it was good.
So watching other friends of yours that you were bowling with on your pair and people around you, that type of thing?
Yep.
What changed? What's everything seems to be pretty playable from a lot of different angles for players, whether high speed, low speed, high rev rate, low rev rate. There's a lot of options out there. It's not like you're keyholed into one spot on the lane.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's more like just finding your comfort, right? Most of these people play the same kind of line at home, and I think once you find the surface and the ball, the way the ball rolls off your hand, you're going to get comfortable and find your shot for sure. So that's what I think I love about this tournament and why it's so popular is you're able to play what you're normally used to. So
let's take a peek in. We got a big game going over on 13 and 14.
Oh, absolutely. He's got a little 280 going.
Yeah, so those are in game 3. So Matthew Mieser. Slow start for him, 347 for the first 2, but picking things up now. How different pair to pair did you find it crossing the house today? Like, was it as predictable as last year for you, where you moved pairs and you kind of knew where you needed to play? Or was it a little different with this slightly different lane pattern?
Yeah, no, I think it was a little bit different. I mean, I got spoiled because I was starting like in the middle end. So I guess the rule of thumb everybody's telling me here is that it plays a little bit longer down there. So I was able to stay in the same ball for X amount of games. But when I made the transition, then I went to my Vibe. That worked out great. I think the same thing here is the transition. I think with the units of oil, too, a lot of people were able to play in the same spot. So that seems pretty ideal. But the transition, it didn't, nothing too much, but I'd say people that played towards the end of the pair are a little more favorable because they get that little bit longer pattern to themselves. At least it felt longer to me. So
okay. A couple of questions. If you got a question for Mark Blah in the chat, I mean, how often do you get to talk to a guy that won $25,000 in a bowling tournament? I'd ask him a few questions, especially if you're coming here. Somebody, let's see, what did Sean Lavery Spar shoot this morning? I think you beat Sean Lavery Spar with your total.
I don't know.
He had a rough day.
I think he was a little bit higher than me. I have to double check, but
yeah, Sean did not have a good day. For those of you that had him in doubles, I think he was plus 40 after 3.
The Mallory that he was with, Mallory Clark, great gal. She bowled really well. I think she ended up being like 3rd. I think in the classic division.
I think she's 3rd right now in classic. Yeah.
But yeah, she had a great look. But yeah, me and Sean were, talking sidewall while we're waiting for our last game, and it's just like we knew what the move was. It was too little, too late, and so he had some great pieces of equipment. But yeah, we're both on the same page. We just didn't trust our gut right away. But I'll have to pull up. Let's see what he did.
Is it pretty cool walking into a place like here today and having a Mallory Clark from Bayside Bowl and a pro like Sean Lavery Spar walk up to you and go, "Hey champ, how's it going?" That kind of thing.
Yeah, they're just great people, honestly. And Mallory is just down to earth. And I knew Sean for just the hour or 2 that we were here. Awesome guy, great feedback, and it was very fun to watch. I mean, he was able to loft and stay soft with his hand, and watch him manipulate a ball was great. Great people.
So it looks like we got a big game going down on 31 and 32. Dean Wynn, yeah, he's got a chance for 250 here, 258. He's only 422 for 2. And, yeah, sometimes getting off to the slow start really takes you out of the chance to take over the lead. But you can still get yourself a pretty nice check. If you get yourself a 1,400 here in the Open Classic division, you're getting a check, and it's going to have a couple of zeros in it behind that first number.
Absolutely,
No doubt about it. Did you treat yourself to anything last year after winning the 25 grand?
I didn't personally treat myself to anything more than I spoiled the heck out of my kid.
Okay.
I mean, he's still in awe about it, but he got a couple. We got a little electric scooter.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's the rave, right? Got him a cool trick scooter. He likes to do little tricks, and then yeah, nothing too crazy. Otherwise, just kind of the tickets to the Twins games for a local baseball team. So he loves doing that. So.
I still have to get to Target Field. I've yet to make the drive up there from Milwaukee and get there. They just had the Brewers Twins series over the last couple of weeks. So
oh my God, the Brewers just beat the crap out of us. That's tough.
Yeah,
that's too soon.
Hey, we got a question from Mark here. If you could only bring 3 balls, what type of bowling balls would you bring? Now let's go with a higher rev player and a lower rev player. Just to kind of even things out, because obviously a lower rev player is going to be able to use more aggressive equipment than a high rev player.
No, you're solid on that one. I think, with we'll say a higher rev, because I can speak to that. Definitely symmetric. I mean, I threw the Widowmania. I mean, depending on how deep you can get, it's more of like a pearl asymmetric. I think that's a great thing, but something symmetrical, a little more tame. So, I mean, me being a hammer fanatic, I had to do the low flare, and then I had my Vibe in my bag. The Vibe came out a couple times, but so I would say something symmetrical. You don't want anything too skid flippy.
Okay.
Lower rev, you got your 500 or 1,000 grip. Probably something on the back, like your Effect Tours, or I've seen some, is it the Hyper Drive? I've seen some of those, and the Rockstar.
Okay.
So a lot of 500, 1,000 grit. I saw, well, at least this squad, a lot of scuffs that I've been watching. They've been 5, 10, and just down and in. Nice low rev, and there's some good scores. Yeah. So, I'd say if you're low rev, asymmetrical wouldn't be a bad idea. Especially if you miss right a little bit, you got a little comeback.
A little extra engine, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of hand. Asymmetrical is probably not your best friend unless it's something a little shiny to get down lane. So, for sure.
So last year, in the fall, I saw you again at a PBA regional in Waukesha, Wisconsin on the string pins. That was your first PBA regional you gave a shot to?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And you just missed, you bowled well. You just missed the cut. I mean, that was when you get EJ Tackett and Marshall Kent and Josh Blanchard and Kevin McHugh walking into your first regional. You're used to the weekend wire guys. All of a sudden, holy crap, there's like 8 tour guys here bowling. It makes it a little harder getting the cut number, but you held it together well. You got yourself close to a check in that event, which is never easy to do when you got that many big guns in it. And now I see on the sleeve there, you got the PBA Tour logo. So are you a PBA member now?
I will be, actually,
okay.
This year, once we get back on the schedule of things. But yeah, that was my first run at the PBA stuff. I figured I've been putting it on for a while with lifes and stuff like that, so I figured this is a good game to go. But yeah, bowling with EJ Tackett was fun, also kind of intimidating because he's one of the best. Well, I think, in my opinion, he's the best bowler in the world right now. So
right.
That was great. Also, wanted to see the spring pins because I know everybody's got an awesome opinion about it, and honestly, it was a great experience. So got to learn a lot, and it was a great house too. So.
Yeah, the Hainan family, owners of not just Foxview Lane, Sussex Bowl, but they also own H5G brands. And they got the great booth here with all the PBA LBC National Championships merchandise. And while we've been chatting, the man who had 289 in the opening game, the hottest hand in the house, Terrence Snell, he's coming in with a 190 average in the men's handicap division, and he's putting together a big finish here. Oh. And just misses, but puts a game up there, 246 scratch, 273 with his handicap. He's on pace to take down that men's handicap division lead. So
definitely on fire. Some
great bowling going on here today in the men's handicap division on this squad. And once again, thanks to Creating the Difference and Ron Hicklin for bringing a lot of these bowlers into Valero Mount Prospect today.
Yeah, huge shout out to Ron, because I know this is not easy a thing to do when you get this many people. I mean, I only did 10, which I was blessed to have, but to have this many people, hats off to him for putting this all together, because this is a great squad to be in.
Yeah, and you had a pretty fun event that I'm glad we've got a chance to kind of roundabout way to talk about, and I hope more people start doing it next year. You had win-a spots for the LBC National Championships up in Minnesota. So tell people what exactly you did for those win-a spots.
No, we did, just kind of like what it is here. You take one from every division, right, and they go on to the next ladder. So we kind of open it up. We had the exact same thing. So your open classic for men's, women's, handicap. The turnout was great, and we were able to, send everybody. I think out of the whole batch, 5 were able to go. The other ones had some scheduling issues, but great turnout. But what I wanted from it is still, weirdly enough, people don't know a lot about this event. So it's just getting people aware. This is a great tournament to be a part of, and this is a very real thing. So it's just getting the word of mouth, because there's some really great bowlers out here that just they don't know that this tournament's here.
Yeah.
This is the 3rd year, so. I'm just hoping, for my own preference, that this continues to grow and we get to see more faces and get more shifts. So,
more and more prize money. I mean, but on top of it, that $100,000 that was up for grabs last year in Portland, Maine, for everybody that made that clash. That $100,000 was added money by the PBA. That wasn't at all these bowlers' entry fees or anything like that. That was PBA added money, and they added $31,000 across all the divisions in prize money as well. So they're going to pass the $1 million in 3 years in prize money awarded.
Just absolutely insane.
And hey, once again, we had a couple of people asking. We're going to try to talk to Thomas Jensen once the squad's done, because he is just amazing bowling as a W amputee. Once again, this is the 2nd year we've had him at the LBC National Championships. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to talk to him last year. But to be able to get out there, the balance you need in this sport, and to have the dedication after you have, a major, let's face it, amputation, major body modification, whatever you want to call it, get out here and bowl it's great, because there's all divisions for all players. We had a bowler last year in the men's handicap division that used a motorized wheelchair that had. You get to the foul line, and the ball would come off the ramp and roll. And he could adjust. I can't remember his name. Hopefully we see him the last weekend again. But we got video of him bowling, and he would adjust. You can't use finger holes in the bowling ball, because he uses a ramp. Mm-hmm. And so with the advantage he gets with that is that he can spin the bowling ball around wherever the pin might be, that kind of thing, and then get the ball to hook or backup hook or do all kinds of things. Right. So it's really neat to see how inclusive these LBC National Championships can be, because you don't have to be a Norm Duke to win a Norm Duke. You can be anybody and have your chance at the Duke. And last year you had your chance at the Duke in Portland, and just came up a little short. So
especially when you got guys like Chris Prather, great bowler, and then you got girls like Gianna, just no matter what, just looked amazing off her hand. I was like, this is. I want to see you come back in here tomorrow morning, and when Chris Prather's bowling on the 11 a.m. squad, just start pointing at him going, "You had a girl beat you too. Yeah, take that. She didn't just beat me. She beat you." I don't know if Chris would be okay with that. I think Chris also needs to know, and I don't know if he's even watching or listening to that, but he absolutely made my kid's day. But he made a video later, but my son replays the heck out of the part where he accidentally fanned it, right, and left that 7 count,
right,
and then he face planted it right next to Mini Duke, and my kid just eats that up. He's like, "That's my best bowler," and he just face planted next to my Duke. That was an amazing feeling. So he replays that all the time.
That's awesome.
As much as it must pain Chris, my kid loves it.
Yeah, that's the one thing about these LBC National Championships. If you do well enough and make it to the clash, that's, regardless of the prize money, it's a life-changing experience for you, for whoever goes with you.
100%.
We haven't heard anything about where the clash is going to be this year. I'm begging so hard for it to be back at Bayside Bowl in Portland, Maine, just because I know the atmosphere there. It doesn't matter if you're Jason Belmonte or Mark Blaha or Chloe Hickland or Garrett Bear. They're cheering for you. They're chanting for you. They're doing all that stuff because they love the sport of bowling.
No, that cheer, the energy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Chris, he runs that house. That was amazing. Like,
yeah.
especially the rooftop and the food truck. And,
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, like I can sit here and babble you for 3 hours how great the experience was, but you just have to go. Even if you want to be a part, just go. Yeah, it's a great time.
Yeah. Question in the chat for you from USA Vet: are string pins better than twister pins? Now I've bowled against the twisters. I retired from bowling myself a few years back. I've thrown some goofing around a house ball or two against some string pins. If you go with the certified string pins, I would definitely say I'd rather bowl against the certified strings.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you on that because, like, the twisters, I'm not a mechanic, but from the mechanics that I do know, the twisters, they break down way too easily, and it can be, over cumbersome as far as, like, expenses-wise.
Okay.
So, yeah, I would think the string pins are probably better than the twisters because they would just go through them. So, yeah, I would have to say the string pins
There
for
we
sure.
go. And if you get a chance to try, don't go at string pins with a closed mind. Don't believe any of the videos you see before 2024 on what string pins are, because those are the older machines with the shorter strings, and they call them carnival machines and that type of thing, which they are.
Yeah.
When you watch a guy that never bowled before, my wife and I were at a company outing that her work had, and they had the carnival strings at the place we were at, and we just used house balls and house shoes, and I'm carrying stuff I didn't deserve, and I watched a guy that never bowled before make the 7-10 twice.
That's amazing.
In 2 games. Yeah, it was pretty incredible. So,
yeah, no, I think the string pins, I think, you have to keep an open mind too. It makes you just play it a little bit different. No different than an oil pattern, surface. Like, it's just another variable. And I think string pins just need to be looked at differently. Like, you just got to play them differently. It's nothing negative. It's just a different form of style to keep the game going.
yeah. So there we go. We got a hot hand to go with our bowling here on 21 and 22. As Seth Lehman, he'll be stepping up shortly after that whiff in the first frame. He's got a 7-bagger on the board.
Is that scratch? Yeah.
Yeah, he would be in the Open Classic division, but only a plus 32 start for the first 2 games. Gets him back to plus 100, but then you need 800. You're going to need 800 for your last 3. And we've seen one of those this year, but it wasn't a true 800. It was games 2, 3, and 4 out of Mr. Garrett.
That kid was amazing to watch. 28 strikes in a row. I mean, I don't know if he's watching, but that was amazing to watch, and how it came off his hand every single time. That man was on fire. No one can touch that kid that day. It was great.
Yeah, and he was using a pretty non-aggressive ball for most of the time with an IQ Ruby or a 3D offset from Hammer. So a couple non-aggressive bowling balls, and
nope, he was locked in.
He was locked in. It was a good thing.
I think that's what I love about this thing the most is, and then people need to realize too, is it's like you said, it's a variety of people. It's, you're not, it's not who's on your spot. It's just you're shooting your shot in your own division, and you just get to compete against the great. So that's what makes it, I think, this experience a lot better than most.
Well, I found out there is room on a Peterson squad tomorrow morning. So if you're thinking about it, the sister tournament to the LBC National Championships is about 20 minutes away at Bolero Vernon Hills.
Vernon Hills,
Pearson
that's right.
Classic, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and Lehman's string comes to an end with almost a 2-8-10. The 8-10 still stands. You ever bowl it before? Ever bowled the Peterson?
I've never been to the Peterson. I've heard amazing stories. My old man used to bowl when he was in his younger age. I've heard nothing but good things. And like you said, they manipulate.
Well, if you count horror stories as good things, yeah. So somebody asked me last night, you ever seen a 2-3 get left before? Because it was a really weird. Somebody that pin bounced that they missed and bounced off the side, and they left a 2-3 like combination.
Yeah.
They go, hey, you ever seen anybody leave the 2-3 before? I go, yeah, I've done it at the Peterson. I left the 2-3-4 and the 2-3-4-6 at the Peterson on back-to-back shots on one lane when it was out of Hoffman Estates.
Yep.
So
no, I think I was watching TikTok, and I think it was Daria or maybe another gal.
Yeah.
But you put your ball down, and all of a sudden it would be like dead left in the gutter.
Yeah.
And then you adjust to go on to the next lane, and it would just go 50-some feet,
Right.
nothing.
Yep.
I'm like, that's the Peterson. All
Yeah.
right.
no shadow balls. You get your 10 minutes of practice here. You get no shadow balls at the Peterson.
Yep.
you better have a squad that does a good job of talking to each other as you move from pair to pair if you want people on your squad to do well. So,
Yeah.
absolutely. Hey, Mark, thanks for sitting in for a game with us. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
We're gonna get Neil Stremmel in here next. So Neil's he's got a tough act to follow now with you in here.
He's kind of a big deal.
Well, he gets to answer fan questions about the LBC National Championships and
sure.
about bowling and equipment, since he's the rules and equipment specifications person for the PBA. So people get to ask him a lot of good questions. But
ask him about his Corvette.
Yeah.
He loves that.
I appreciate you coming in the booth.
Absolutely.
All
thanks
right,
for having me.
we're gonna have Game 4 coming up next. let's get back over as Terrence Snell, 759 with his handicap pins for his first 3 games, and he's had the full up and down. Started with 289, then at a 170 game, now a game in the 250s with his handicap. So now Snell's going to need to keep things rolling as our men's handicap division leader is Robert Morris at 1502. So we're definitely have a new record for total amount of bowlers in the PBA LBC National Championships this year. Our first year, when we were at Bolero Wauwatosa, we were around the 1,100 number. We were at 1,200 last year. In our first year here at Bolero Mount Prospect, and we are well over 1,300 bowlers currently, and there's still room to get in. If you haven't gotten in yet and want your chance, you can still register. PBA.com/LBC tournament. As we mentioned, this weekend pretty much a sellout. It might be tough for a lot of you to get here unless you're only a couple-hour drive away for one of the couple of spots that would be open for tomorrow morning. But there's still room next Saturday on the 9 a.m. squad. 2 p.m. Saturday and 11 a.m. Sunday, local time. Those are either sold out or an entry or two away from being sold out. And then for our final weekend of the 2025 edition of the PBA LBC National Championships, still room on July 12th, but that final Sunday, July 13th, only a couple spots remaining. So don't waste any time if you're looking to bowl, especially if you need to bowl on a Sunday over the next couple of weeks. Sign up now, PBA.com/LBC tournament. And Rocky Harrison. Rocky not having a good day. Rocky with a bit of the Milwaukee skyline, it looks like, on his jersey. Might be the Summerfest grounds around that area. Always like watching bowlers that have jerseys with like either hometown stadiums or other hometown landmarks on their jerseys. Saw somebody a little earlier around here with a Wrigley Field jersey that you could see the scoreboard in center field on. That was pretty neat to see. So Snell with a double. Snell having the best day of the year right now. As he gets done, just goes back, looks at his phone, records his score, must be using one of those apps like Lane Talk, and just waits patiently for his next turn to bowl. He is definitely focused on the lanes right now, and as we mentioned, he's in the men's handicap division. And the entry average I have on his sheet is 190. One of the great things about the LBC National Championships, doesn't matter if your average is 90, 190, you have a chance to win your division just as much as anybody else that walks in the door. Actually, we have a young lady in the girls junior handicap division, Kylie Sim. All 7 years old of her. She was watching her older brothers bowl the PBA Junior World Series of Bowling. And while her brother Mel had a decent set in the Open Classic division, and her older brother Christopher is currently in 4th place in the junior handicap division. Kylie took her 49 average, had some great games, averaged almost 100 for her 6 games of competition. Her low game was 82 in game number 2. And Kylie Sim currently in 2nd place in girls handicap behind Layla Garcia. So as we said, doesn't matter what your average may be. You could be a 7-year-old bowler like Kylie Sim. You could be an 87-year-old bowler that wants the competition. Come on down to Bolero Mount Prospect. Well, don't come down before you're signed up. You have to sign up for a squad at pba.com/LBC tournament. Walk-ins do not happen here at the LBC. Let's take a quick peek in on 15 and 16. Not a great day to this point. For John Enzenauer. But Enzenauer spare 5-bagger now. Let's see. We are just throwing black clouds at everybody so far this weekend every time we cut to them. It seems like. I know it's not the case. But how about this, Terrence Snell tearing him up. Keeping the game clean early, then has a 4-bagger, frames 4 through 7. And looking to keep extending. I mean, that's 759 with his handicap the first 3 games. If he had some doubles partners, even if he used PBA players as his doubles partners, which you can do here at the PBA LBC National Championships, you could have a pretty good doubles total with a player like EJ Tackett. As for those doubles, they use your first 3 games. If you're in one of the handicap divisions with men's or women's handicap, they do add your handicap in to your score. And as long as the first player bowling pays for the entire entry fee, you can get yourself paired up on a doubles team with anybody that bowls. So let's say you're coming in and bowling the 7 o'clock squad tonight, and you want to have Andrew Anderson as a doubles partner and Chris Prather as another doubles partner. You just pay the $25 per player, $50 per doubles entry on League Pals before the squad starts, and boom, you got yourself a couple of PBA exempt players as your doubles partners. And a 5-bagger for Snell. And if I'm Robert Morris sitting at home watching the live stream, I'd be a little worried about my 1502 right now. Snell off of his 190 average. He's catching 24 pins a game handicap. So 190 average player had 680 scratch for his first three. Over 100 pins over average. And Snell starting to pace that way again here for his last three. Snell will take it out to a sassy 6 in a row. Oh, almost got a huge break there. Leaves just the 10. And a great conversion. Keeps Snell pacing towards that men's handicap division lead. Well, we presented Fernando Hernandez his mini Duke before the squad started for his 300 game last year, PBA LBC National Championship. We'll get back. It's not going to be a 300 for Hernandez, but we'll get back and see if he can put a big finish on the board here in game 4. But we're sticking with Snell, and he's just got things rolling his direction. Looking to put up another big game, this time at 245. Tack on that 24 pins of handicap. He'll have 269 on the board, and he is definitely pacing his way towards the men's handicap lead. Needs to push a little hard. Wow, that one, I always thought that was going to be 4-pin high. Snell right now, when he's making the little misses, yikes. That's a second gutter ball today we've seen Snell throw. That one doesn't hurt him too bad, as he already had the double in the 10th for 20 pins. So you think about it, it's the same as going strike 9 spare. Sure, he'd love to have those extra 10 pins in his scorecard right now. But during game 2, when he only had 170, he started with a double and then threw a gutter 6. Took a lot of pins away as well. Let's get back up to Fernando Hernandez. As we mentioned, took down a mini Duke last year. Yet to do it this year. He's got a big game right now, but he was under a 200 average for his first 3 games. So your player movement, for those of you that are double tabbing, moving from game 3 to game 4, or pardon me, from game 4 to game 5. Everybody's just moving next door. So we'll keep an eye on Snell as he's just moving over to 5 and 6. And we'll follow any other hot hands that get brought to our attention here in the booth. So that player movement right next door. And we'll be back with game 5 here from Bolero Mountain Prospect. Don't forget another squad tonight. 7 p.m. a special squad added because thanks to CTD, we filled this squad. We filled the early squad this morning at 9 a.m. And our 7 p.m. squad has 4. That's right, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 PBA exempt players with Patrick Dombrowski, Dio Bernard, Bailey Maverick, and Matt Russo. We'll also have Matt Russo's lovely bride, Lauren, PWBA star in her own right, bowling on that squad with Matt. It'll be fun to see the faces of the players coming in, finding out they're bowling with a PBA exempt pro. And always remember here at the PBA LBC National Championships, you're never bowling against the pro. The exempt pros have their own divisions. So anybody that's on that week in, week out on the PBA Tour, you don't have to worry about their scores. Just worry about scoring well yourself while you're here at Bolero Mountain Prospect. Here we go. Game 5. We're going to stick with Terrence Snell as he's the hot hand on the squad. I mean, even if you take away his handicap, 24 pins a game, so that's 96 pins, he still would be at 937 scratch for 4. I mean, it's not Open Classic division take over the lead type of score, but it'd be a solid outing. Throw a couple more games like he has today, and it would be a pretty good sized check by the time he was done. Snell comes up high in that first shot. Now, one thing that keep in mind, I find it a great stat so far in this tournament. We've had 6 300 games in the 2025 edition of the PBA LBC National Championships. 3 of those 300s have come on the pair Snell is on. 5 and 6. When it's your day, it's your day. Terrence Snell having a day right now. 10:31. Working on getting into that lead in the men's handicap division. Entering average I have on my sheet here for Snell is 190. Looking to chase down the total of 15:02 set by Robert Morris the opening weekend. So with Snell's handicap, he needs a 424 scratch total for this game and next game to take over that handicap division lead. And spare 3-bagger here in game 5 is a pretty good start to getting to that 424 total. We're sticking with Snell because there's no one else on this squad that even has a outside chance of taking over a division lead, at least that I've seen to this point. Oh, how about that? The 4-8-10, but he slides the 8 over into a 10 pin. Wow. Phenomenal conversion there by Terry Jenkins. So Jenkins with a great conversion. Then we've got Dustin Tournier and Dean Nguyen, both on the front 4. Hey, it's a crossover, but you got to take it. Tournier with the 5-bagger. Snell looking to get to 4 in a row, keeping the charge in the men's handicap division alive. All right, Terry Jenkins, you just showed off making the 4-8-10 the hard way. So a 5-bagger, a 5-bagger, a 4-bagger, and Terry Jenkins just a split-making machine. Oh, that was a terrible toss there, unfortunately, for Tournier. And I don't think he's probably shot at a 1-5-10 in years. Well, we saw Snell put one in the ditch end of game 4. And that one well right into game 5. So both the 5-baggers did not turn into 6-baggers. So Snell with a maximum score here of 257. Before his handicap pins, he gets 21 pins of handicap, as we mentioned. He just needs 423 scratch to tie Robert Morris, 424 for a total of the last 2 games. In the men's handicap division. And once again, scores are always unofficial in our handicap divisions until averages are fully verified. So if he does get the 424, we would have another provisional leader. In the men's handicap division. A couple division lead changes over the last 2 days. Yesterday, Chris Barnes on that special PBA 50 tour squad took over the lead in the senior classic division. And this morning, on the early squad, we had Margaret Ventrella, who put up a 289 game in game 4. end up taking over lead in the women's classic division by a single pin. As Amanda Lang was the previous leader with 13:23. Ventrella needed spare strike in the 10th frame to take the lead by a pin, and she did it with a strike on her fill ball. So 13:24, the magic number that Lauren Russo tonight and a bunch of PWBA players next weekend are going to be taking aim for. Try to take down that $5,000 guaranteed first place prize in the women's classic division. Snell trying to cheer on his CTD teammates. Apparently Snell must be wearing his lucky jersey, because I'm watching all these other CTD players in their black jerseys with the gold and yellow accents. Meanwhile, Snell wearing his black, white, and blue jersey, taking care of business until that point. But the way the day has gone for Snell, wouldn't surprise me if he picked up this 3, 6, 7, 10. So that drops Snell's maximum now to 225. So we'll figure out what Terrence Snell needs in game 6 to take down that men's handicap provisional lead. And there's a big move across the house for their 6th and final game, as these players you see here on 5 and 6, Snell and company, move down to 13 and 14, so skip 3 pairs and land on the 4th for players between game 5 and game 6. So if you're following players on the pair feeds, you know you got to move a total of 4 pairs to the right. Obviously, bowlers up on 27 and 28 can't go any farther right than 33 and 34, so they make their way down to 3 and 4. 29 and 30 makes 5 and 6, and so on. See if Snell can pop a big finish. We've seen him do it a couple times. Last game, I thought we were going to get a big finish out of Snell, as he started with a double in the 10th frame and then let one get away from him. Ended up in the gutter. Still at 235 on the scoreboard. So they have 1 game under average to this point, 6 slaps to 10, and just got it rolling. So he's trying to keep the dome a little cool. Swinging that chamois. Get some air circulation. I'm behind 5 and 6. You're in the broadcast booth, and I'm comfortable. So then again, I'm just kind of standing around, moving around here and there between the actual bowling and probably some of the nerves that are building up for Snell. Oh, can't get the hit on the 6. So a spare here for 215 is going to leave Snell needing 209 in game number 6 to take the lead. There's the cover on the 6-pin. 209 is what Snell needs. And we'll follow Snell over to 13 and 14. If somebody else manages to pop a big game, we'll get you some coverage on that as well, as that is what we do here in our main feed this weekend at the PBA LBC National Championships, and along with other weekends here at the PBA LBC. So a 6th and final game remaining. For these players on our 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. local squad here. Don't forget, one more squad tonight, 4 PBA exempt players on that squad. Catch that squad starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. here in Mount Prospect, Illinois. So we're just waiting on Terrence Snell to arrive here with 13 and 14. And Snell just needs a 209 scratch game to go with his 24 pins of handicap to overtake Robert Morris for the men's handicap division lead here at the 2025 PBA LBC National Championships. Don't know if Snell has been looking at the standings boards here at Bolero Mount Prospect. But he probably realizes not to worry about what the score is and just go out there and try to get your best shot every shot. Hi, Melmac. Nice to see you in the chat, dear. Just so you know, you're sitting in 6th overall in the Women's Classic division after your effort today. Don't know if that's going to hold on for a check for you, but quality tossing nonetheless, and I'm sure you've already lost your husband and your daughter to the golf course for a quick 9 or possibly even 18 with the sun staying out so late. But we'll see if the sun keeps shining here on Terrence Snell. Snell will take to the lanes on 13 and 14. Try to take over the lead in the men's handicap division. All right, Snell's got the equipment on the lanes, and he'll be getting ready to fire his first frame at Game 6 once again. For those of you joining us late, not a lot of big scores on this squad other than Terrence Snell. Snell started with a 289 game, front 10 of that game, and suffered through a 170 game, and he's had some solid scores the last 3 games. And Snell deciding he's going to let his lane mates start things off as he makes a jog to another part of the center. 4 pros tonight on the 7 p.m. local time, 8 o'clock your YouTube start in the Eastern time zone for the PBA LBC National Championships. And if you count Lauren Russo from the PWBA as one of their tour stars, which I do, 5 high-quality names on that squad with Bailey Maverick, Dio Bernard, Patrick Dombrowski, and Matt Russo. So there's going to be a lot of players coming in tonight, looking up at their scoreboards, walking out for game 1 and going, I'm on with Matt Russo and Lauren Russo, or I'm out with Dio Bernard. Well, they're not bowling against them. They just happen to be on the same pair. And I'll tell you what, this is a very relaxed atmosphere for a PBA exempt player. Don't get me wrong. They are trying shot in and shot out to maximize their score. But when you have PBA tour players that get to bowl in shorts, a little relaxed dress code for this event, hey, if they even want to have an adult beverage while they bowl, they can do that. They couldn't do that during tour competition. Big break there for Snell early. And then, I mean, how cool is it? We had a little clip that's on the PBA League Bowler Certification Facebook page of a couple of gentlemen last week. They were lucky enough to be on the pair with EJ and Natalie Tackett. And you just see the look on the gentlemen's faces after they were done. They had such a good time bowling with Natalie and EJ. You know, Natalie and EJ put them calm, at ease right away. They had some fun. As Natalie said, you know, we celebrated the strikes even if they were crossovers. And we had a good time together. You're going to have that with these PBA exempt players when they're here. Wow, a bad break for Snell. Chopping the 6 off the 10. Once again, 209 is the magic number. Whether Snell knows it or not, we know it here in the booth. As we could have our 3rd lead change in the division in 3 squads. Chris Barnes yesterday. On that special 1 p.m. Friday PBA 50 tour squad. And then earlier today, Margaret Ventrella took the lead by just a single pin over Amanda Lang in the women's classic division. So will Terrence Snell make it 3 for 3 for squads with lean changes this weekend. And this is the busiest weekend of the event. Weekend 5 squads on the weekend. Most squads normally only have 3 squads at 9 a.m., 2 p.m. on Saturday, and 11 a.m. on Sunday for local times here in Mount Prospect. But we had the special PBA 50 tour squad yesterday. There were other players on that squad. It was open to anyone, but mainly put together for PBA 50 tour players and their stops between the national tour stop in Hammond and the regional in Arlington Heights this weekend. And then a lot of the PBA 60 guys are heading to Columbus, Ohio, because that practice session is going to start Monday for the PBA 60 World Series of Bowling. And then 3 squads today since creating the difference. Basically filled up a good chunk of this squad. Sold out early. They added a 7 p.m. squad tonight, which is almost a sellout. We were sold out earlier today at 9 a.m. And tomorrow is basically a sellout at 11 a.m. So, as we mentioned earlier, still some spots for our final 2 weekends, but basically you're looking at next Saturday at 9 a.m. or the following Saturday at 9 a.m. or 2 p.m. And those spots are filling quick as well, as our Sundays basically on July 6th and July 13th are a sellout. Might be a couple spots still left on Sunday the 13th, but I guarantee you with the star power of bowlers on the PBA exempt side of the equation on that last squad, those last couple of spots will go quick. Get in while you can. Jason Sterner, Kyle Sherman, Bill O'Neill, and I'm sure with Kyle Sherman here, Brad Miller won't be too far behind. I saw Brad's name on the entry list. PBA.com/LBC tournament for all your information about the goings on here at Bolero Mount Prospect. Snell looking to right the ship. Hasn't been close to the pocket on his first 2 shots here in Game 6. And crosses over. Huge break there. When you make a mistake, make it a big enough one to get to the cross. And Snell does it. With a trip 6. See if we can parlay that good break with a quality shot in the 4th frame. As I mentioned, 4 PBA exempt players on our 7 p.m. local time squad tonight. Dio Bernard, Patrick Dombrowski, Bailey Maverick, Matt Russo. All right, viewers, quick poll. Who do you think is going to be high out of those 4 PBA exempt players tonight? And do you think any of those exempt players could take down the 1450 total of EJ Tackett that EJ put up last Saturday? So you'd have to shoot 725 for each 3-game set. So you got to average just over 242 for your 6 games. Who do you think can do it between Bernard, Dombrowski, Russo, or Maverick? And I'll give you a couple of seconds to answer before I throw my answer back at you. And it might surprise a few people, my answer. So here we go. I'm going to give you my answer. I'm going to go with Dio Bernard, and for one specific reason. Dio can play all 40 boards on the lane. Watched him when we were in Lockport when I was covering a PBA regional right before the start of these PBA LBC National Championships. And Dio switched to a reverse hook for him being naturally left-hand dominant, so he started using the right side of the lane to get through some pairs that he didn't find very likable on the left side, and then a little later in the tournament switched back to left-hand dominant, left-hand hook and shot a 300. And now I've seen some video of Dio bowling right-handed and throwing it pretty well. As Snell can't parlay that crossover, and now another choppable spare left for him. And his demeanor has kind of changed here since the end of Game 5. I think he's getting a little hyper-focused, knowing the task at hand. So I'm going to go with Dio Bernard as our high player out of the 4 PBA exempt bowlers, coming to you at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. here in Mount Prospect. And I think I think Deal might have a 20% chance of taking down EJ's score. Jim, not a bad call at Lauren Russo. I don't know if she's going to get to EJ's 1450 total, but she'll be bowling in the Women's Classic division. And that total, about 120 pins less. 1324 leading that right now. So we could have a second lead change in the same day in the Women's Classic division if Lauren Russo, a.k.a. the best Pate. She's Nick Pate's sister. Yeah, Lauren Russo could have a great chance of taking on that Women's Classic lead. And again, next weekend, your two-time defending champion Women's Classic, Liz Johnson, scheduled to appear. I don't know which squad. I believe it's a 2 p.m. squad. I don't have any information on that yet. I'll try to get that during the break. Yeah, a lot of the PWBA stars bowling next weekend as they're going to start making their way up to Green Bay, Wisconsin, as they have the PWBA 10th Anniversary Classic at Schwabenheim Bowling Alley. Starting July 9th, ends up with a TV Finals on July 13th. And, of course, that July 13th is not only the first day of all the Junior Gold festivities, might be the second day of all the trade show stuff, whatever, up in Green Bay. So they'll have a lot of youth players watching that Arena Finals from the Resch Center in Green Bay, and that'll be on CBS Sports Network. That's also the last day here in Mount Prospect of this 2025 edition of the PBA LBC National Championships. So Snell trying to keep the dream alive of taking over that men's handicap lead. He catches 24 pins of handicap, so he needs a 209 scratch game to go with that 24 pins of handicap to surpass Robert Morris. Yeah, John, tune back in on the 7 p.m. squad. I hope they have the information for you. I believe it's 2 p.m. next Saturday for a lot of our PWBA players coming through, but I don't have confirmation on that. I have to get that from our tournament director, Neil Stremmel, and his tournament personnel, because I know there's going to be a lot of people anxious to see if Liz Johnson can three-peat. I mean, Liz is only averaging over 250 for her 12 games of LBC competition over the first two LBC events in two different bowling centers. We'll see if she can keep that rolling when she tries to return and go for the triple repeat. I refuse to use that term Pat Riley trademarked. I'm not going to pay Pat Riley any money. Same reason why I call it the Rob Stone pork product or a four-bagger. I will not call it that particular term. Double here for Snell would be huge. Try to get to that 209. Oh, that's going to go left. And, yeah, through the nose. There's body parts tightening up right now on Snell. He probably hasn't felt tighten up since last time he was in a position to take the lead in the tournament. Now, I'm sure we'll probably have a booth feed for that 2 o'clock squad next Saturday and 11 a.m. next Sunday. We might not have a booth squad on the 9 a.m. squad. It's a bit of a smaller squad. There's still plenty of room on that particular squad if you're looking to get in, but with the number of names we have on that 2 p.m. squad on the 5th, including Christian Azcona, I think with Stu Williams, we got to give Stu Williams a little love. They might stick around for that 2 o'clock squad, especially if Liz is bowling. But then Sunday, July 6th, and as we said, that squad, only an entry or 2 left. A.J. Johnson, Sean Rash, Book Kroll. And on Sunday, July 13th, Jason Sterner, Kyle Sherman, Bill O'Neill. Literally 1 or 2 squad openings left on each of those Sunday squads. So you're going to need to enter sooner than later for this PBA LBC National Championships because the 13th is our last day. Oh, no. He just gave that mark away with that gutter ball. You can see he was looking at his finger, so I don't know if he's starting to maybe get some hand problems getting into the 6th game. I mean, a lot of us bowlers, we bowl our 3 games in league every week, or even if you go to some tournaments, you're bowling 3 games in the team tournament. Snell got the spare after the gutter, but giving that mark away, my goodness. He has to strike out to get to 209 and get to that men's handicap division lead. There's no other option. Anything less than strikes in his last 5 shots, he's looking at 2nd place or lower. So there we go. Snell not going to take over the lead. What a great day he had, though. I mean, you put together his best 3 games, 289, 250, 240. I mean, 770 scratch. That's insane for a 190 average bowler to get that hot on a national stage and put it together. But unfortunately, I think he may have run out of gas in this 6th and final game. But he's still going to see a solid check, even if he finishes with a couple of marks, he should stay in the top 5. So we'll stay here through Snell's finish. We'll keep it on the feed. But yeah, 184 is the maximum here for Snell. So if he strikes out here, he's going to be about 25 pins short. We talk about this all the time here on the main feed. You have to find the way to avoid the one game that takes you down to 5th or 6th place instead of putting you in the lead. It seems everybody seemed to have it this year, except for an E.J. Tackett, except for a Weston Griffin, except for Chris Barnes. If there was a best 5 out of 6 pot, there'd be a lot of people sharing a slice of that pie. Making sure you get 6 out of 6. That's the difference between being a champion in a division and just taking home a check. So we're wrapping up our coverage here on the 2 p.m. local time squad for the PBA LBC National Championships. We hope you enjoy us back here 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. here in Bolero Mount Prospect, as we once again will have 4 PBA Elite Pros from that exempt field in our field this evening. Dio Bernard, Matt Russo, Patrick Dombrowski, Bailey Maverick, and we'll also have PWBA star Lauren Russo on the lanes as well. We hope you enjoy us back at 8 p.m. Eastern here on PBA YouTube. Thanks, everybody, for joining us for this squad. I'm $2 Phil Brylow. Hey, parents, take the kids bowling because, you know, they're going to have fun for life, and we'll hopefully see you back here at 8 Eastern.